Habakkuk is our next minor prophet. A little bit hard to place on the timeline. A lot of sort of inferences about geopolitics and things that are happening in the world, but difficult to sort of pinpoint it. There is this question sort of throughout the three chapters of unjust suffering and evil, and how does God play into that? The first two chapters are this dialogue back and forth between God and the prophet Habakkuk. Why the question is, why are you looking favorably along the ones coming and bringing destruction? They say the prophet says, there's these people that are coming and hurting us, and it looks like you're looking favorably on them, and there's all these terrible things happening, and why does evil exist? And God says, I'm not looking favorably on them. There's the woe to the wicked, blessing on the righteous, be patient. And then the third chapter is this sort of liturgical psalm in which God answers Habakkuk's petition with a portrayal of God's defeat of the wicked. So it is brief, but it has had an important part in history. The Dead Sea Scrolls in the Qumran community, if you're kind of sort of familiar with that, look it up if you're not. There's these people that lived in caves. They were Gnostics. You remember we talked about Gnosticism in another video a while back. But long story short, the Gnostics thought we're God's people. We got to wait it out here until we go to heaven, basically, and that's our only hope. Um, this world is terrible and not really all that redeemable, and so their theology was a little wacky. But there's different forms of Gnosticism today, even not necessarily living in caves. But anyway, um, the they produced some documents called the Dead Sea Scrolls, which are some of the earliest Christian documents ever found intact. And the Qumran community had a biblical commentary on Habakkuk um, relating to their perceived fate. All these terrible things are happening, right? That's what Habakkuk says, and God says, be patient. And that's kind of where they get their idea. Also used in as part of the Hebrew response to the Shoah. They call it the Shoah, but I'd call it the Holocaust. You'd call it the Holocaust, probably. Um, Again, these terrible things are happening to God's people. How do we deal with that? That's Habakkuk, very important and underused among the minor prophets.